स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्तिः रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। The Bhakti Yoga to be the main discipline for most of the people. 1 in a million may be capable of participating in a different way in the sadhana, calling on the divine. We see the whole sadhaka, part of the sadhaka changes when he adopts Jnana Yoga, and the whole thing changes in a different, entirely diametrically opposite direction. It starts moving when he adopts the Bhakti Yoga. One needs strict disciplines of self-restraint and renunciation. Once the mind decides, I will not touch a thing, it will never touch again, then Aham Brahmasmi, that path can be pursued, the Jnana Patha. And when we see that we are not able to renounce to that extent, by mere will I am able to renounce everything, including my bodily existence, then the next best alternative and the only alternative is Bhakti Yoga. To accept the world as it is, as the divine play, and try to transcend the nature through love of God. Both needs the transcendence. I have to transcend the nature in one way or other. I have to transcend the nature either by rejecting it, or I have to transcend the nature by accepting it. The acceptance and transcendence is Bhakti Yoga. The rejection and transcendence is Jnana Yoga. Both are valid, but there must be competitive people. And we see in the world, especially present age, where science and technology has made man almost helpless and slave to his own senses and mind, it is easy for all people to go in the path of bhakti. Now the question comes next. Is it easier to attain God by following the path of... It is easier to attain God by following the path of devotion. Brahmo devotee asks a question. Sir, is it possible for one to see God? If so, why can't we see Him? Master, yes, He can surely be seen. One can see His forms and his formless aspect as well. How can I explain that to you, Brahmo devotee? What are the means by which one can see God? Here comes the real answer. Master, can you weep for him with intense longing of heart? Men shed a jugful of tears for the sake of their children, for their wives, or for their money. But who weeps for God? So long as the child remains engrossed with the toys, the mother looks after the cooking and other household duties. But when the child no more relishes the toys, it throws them aside and yells for its mother. Then the mother takes the rice pot down from the hearth, runs in haste, and takes the child in her arms. Here we see, in case of Bhakti Yoga, the dependence is not on the individual ego. It is on the God's grace. And only thing that Sri Ramakrishna tells is praying for to God to reveal Himself with a longing heart. What is longing? I long for God. I seek. Seeking is different from longing. Longing and yearning are two different words with respect to seeking. Seeking is I am searching. I am unable to wait anymore. I am unable to tolerate. My heart is weeping for Him. Then it is called yearning. So here Sri Ramakrishna gives the example how people weep for wife and children, how they weep for worldly prospects, how they weep for things of the world. Who weeps for God? That is the thing Sri Ramakrishna is telling. People shed jugful of tears for the sake of their children and so on. The another example he gives is mother coming to the child. When we see mother is coming to the child, it is grace descending. Grace descends, that is mother is coming, it is not going to mother. In Jnana Yoga, we approach, we move towards the, in Bhakti Yoga, God moves towards the devotee. God becomes the magnet first and attracts the jiva. Then jiva becomes magnet and attracts the God. In Bhakti Yoga, we see the whole platform is changed. We don't move towards God. God has to come to me. I can't force revelation. I can't use my willpower alone. It is God's grace and nature's grace. When I weep for God, what I am doing? My whole being is becoming one. It is in an integrated state. I have multiple personalities. I am not only seeking God, other things are there, my duties and responsibilities to be discharged. I have other things to do in my life. All this setup must be what all it demands. I have to attend to, and I must see God also. So, each person I interact with, each object that I interact with, I change my nature and qualities. Suppose I am working in an office, my relationship, my attitude towards the owner of the industry or factory where I am employed. There I see my relationship is one. With my parents at home, it may be entirely different. With my family, another person is there. When I move about in the world, some more person. When I sit for meditation and spiritual practices, someone else is projecting out of myself. So multiple personalities will be there, each trying to fulfill the demands of his individual existence. Then we see the thing comes up. When I weep for God, I weep for something, my whole personality is getting integrated. It is becoming one. And when I weep, the change is not in the world, it is changes within myself. I am becoming one. Unless all aspects of my existence become one, I cannot penetrate into nature, nor I can expect the God to say, myself to receive the God's grace. God's grace is always flowing. My ego is holding a umbrella and moving about. Now, just like rain is everywhere, I am carrying an umbrella. Everywhere water is there, but it doesn't touch me. Like that, God's grace is everywhere, but my ego is resisting. When I weep, this ego dissolves. I become one personality apart from becoming one personality. Having achieved my ekatva, oneness, absolute oneness within myself, I have become one and my ego has dissolved. While weeping, my ego dissolves. And absence of ego is where I receive the God's grace. He gives the example of child weeping for its mother. How the child, when it weeps, throwing away all the toys and all that, mother, as long as it is playing in the world, just like we are playing in the world, everything is going on well, we don't need God. When we have money, when we have all the enjoyments around us, we don't feel the need to have God at all. I am busy with it is just like child playing in the field or with friends. As long as child is playing, mother is busy with her work. She doesn't worry what is happening to my child. But the moment it throws away the toys and starts weeping, mother immediately rushes forth, leaving all her household duties, it runs to the child. Like that, God approaches the devotee, one who is unable to bear the pangs of separation from God. Brahmo devotee: Sir, why are there so many different opinions about the nature of God? Some say God has form, while others say He is formless. Again, those who speak of God with form tell us about different forms. Why all this controversy? Master: a devotee thinks of God as he sees Him. The question is, especially in Hinduism itself, we have so many denominations, Shaiva, Shakta, Vaishnava and all these, Shad-darshana, then the philosophies of Advaita, Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, then Tantras, varieties of sadhanas by which we reach God or transcend nature, all this within the Hinduism. But within the Hinduism, conflict was not there because source was one, the realization of God was the goal. The source from where it originated, all these differences, all these procedures and originated, was the first vision of the transcendental realm. It is like seeing a huge ocean, boundless ocean of existence, pure existence, in which millions of universes are appearing and disappearing. In each universe, millions of beings are there. So, like that, when this was reported, there is a transcendental realm. But don't be busy with this world of duality. There is a place where there is no suffering, no bondage, but only bliss and bliss alone. There is no aging, there is no body, there is no suffering. Your existence reaches beyond all limitations and you are having absolute freedom. Absolute freedom. Mukti. Totally free from nature. Prakriti. From Prakriti, you are totally free. So when this was, each started according to his nature, according to his capacity, each one started moving towards the same goal. And according to my nature, when I go, it reveals itself. Where have I faith? What am I built of? What is my build? What is within me is most important. Suppose I go and stand before a mirror. I look entirely different. Another person comes and stands in front of a mirror. He looks entirely different. He looks as he is. Like that, what am I? I am seeing in God. I am made up of a metal where I want to see God as my Father, or I want to see, another person wants to see God as Mother, and another person wants to see God as a goddess. Doesn't matter. And God reveals Himself in various forms. It is how I want to see God is decided by my own nature, my own understanding, what I have developed. What am I made up of? Am I more inclined towards love? Am I more inclined towards reasoning? Or am I endowed with tremendous love for the humanity or other beings? What am I made up of? Am I within me, what is there making me seek something? So, this decides what way I approach God and what way God reveals to me. Maybe I want to see God as Bhakta, and I have read, I have been exposed because I was born there of Vaishnava. Suppose I was born in Vaishnava family. From childhood I hear about Vishnu, I hear about Krishna, I hear about his incarnations. I want to see God in that form. Suppose I was born in a Shakta family who worship God as Divine Mother. I am now so many, but the base is one. After having reached the bliss, peace, love, absolute, the experience is same. Then their understanding comes, oh, God is like an ocean. Infinite number of waves come and go. One wave is Rama, one wave is Krishna. Any number of waves can be there in an ocean. Any types of manifestations can be there in the absolute. The ocean, the absolute existence is referred to or is made to appear like an ocean, but boundless ocean. No shore, no limitations, boundless ocean. So this ocean is now, each form is compared to a wave in the ocean. So all differences dissolve when this ocean is brought into picture, and this ocean is represented by Om. Behind every form we use the term Om, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Hrim Dum Durga Devye Namaha. Without Om, there is no name of God. The ocean is not left out any time. Oh, this wave, that wave, when we identify in the ocean, look there, one fine, big, huge wave is coming. Then we are seeing. It doesn't matter for us that one wave is, I like one wave, the other person like another wave. One is holding on to one wave, the other is holding on to the other wave. It doesn't matter. So within the Hinduism, who has known the philosophy behind, he doesn't have any conflict. But when it comes to the other religions, in contrast with the other religion, it becomes little difficult to understand, because the basis of absolute existence, basis of transcendental existence is not there in the other religions. Enlightenment, Buddha had enlightenment, and this basis of enlightenment may not be there in every religion. So we see the difference, especially with the other religions. We have great contrast, but when we come to spirituality and divinity, again the differences dissolve. Oh, spiritual origin and spiritual culmination. There is a mountain, we are climbing to the same summit through various means from various directions. Then the problem gets solved. So he is not yet exposed to the higher realities and higher understanding. The concept of Om as the common source, the ocean as the common source, has not been brought into his mind. He has been told God is Nirguna. Another person is told God is Saguna. One person says God is Rama. Another person says no, God is Durga. So this conflict is there because they have left out the Om behind. When Om is put, every name and form dissolves there. Oh, in the absolute, unchanging, eternal reality, beyond name, form, qualities, the Nirguna Nirakara, the Saguna Sakara play is going on. A ripple, a wave is coming, leher. So here there won't be any conflict. Now Sri Ramakrishna is going to answer, Sir, why there are so many different opinions about God? Master, a devotee thinks of God as he sees him. As he sees, why there is difference? Because each man has his own nature. With his nature he is moving towards God. According to his nature, God responds to him. In reality, there is no confusion about God. God explains all this to the devotee if the devotee only realizes how. You have not yet set your foot in that direction. How can you expect to know all about God? He is telling most of the people who ask this question, why there is differences in opinion regarding God, has not yet set foot in the direction to attain God. He is still in the stage of understanding what is God. Understanding what is God is different from seeking what is God. Who is God? Where is He? Now, A man may not be knowing or a woman may not be knowing anything about God. I want to realize God. Or just she is born in Shaivite community and she says, I want to realize Shiva. I want to realize Shiva. She says, all right. God appears to that person as Shiva. Just there is no any confusion. There is she calls God as Shiva. She doesn't know anything other than that. God is Shiva. That one understanding, one faith, one movement. She realizes or he realizes Shiva. Now when this beginning of sadhana, seeking, longing has not come, I want to realize God has not yet come. I want to know whether God exists or not, why there are so many controversies regarding God and all. He is still intellectually trying to discern what God is, why there is differences. The heart has not been set on the sadhana. Setting heart is different from setting mind. Mind can understand, mind can see, but this one to understand and see is most important part. God explains all this to the devotee if the devotee only realizes Him somehow, somehow or the other. Set your foot in the path and you will realize. The thing is, a person wants to go to Kailas Manasarovar and he has not made any arrangements, he has not set his foot in that direction. But he is going on searching for who has gone and come, what are their experiences, which direction where to go, how much of time it takes to reach, how to come out, what kind of food is available. All this he is collecting the details. He has not yet started. But a man wants to go to same Kailas Manasur and suddenly starts from home. Comes out and says, I have to go to Kailas Manasur. Somebody says, go in this direction. He goes for 5 kilometers. Then again asks someone, how should I go? Go this direction. So he goes on being directed here and there, wherever he reaches. And ultimately reaches Kailas Manasur. Like the sadhaka also reaches very often without knowing what God is, because he has set his foot in that direction. He has started walking. He is collecting information. Walking is different. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, how can you are not yet set your foot in that direction. How can you expect to know all about God? Listen to a story, the onward journey always, go ahead. The story is about a person who begins his sadhana. How? Like a person who is a woodcutter, and the woodcutter goes on living. One day some brahmachari going will tell him, oh, go ahead. With this go ahead mantra, he goes on and on and on, and ultimately realizes what he was seeking, lot of wealth and free existence. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.